first of all thank the Honourable Lady, the member for Bethnal Green and Bow, for the fantastic job she's done in leading this campaign. She's been an absolutely brilliant advocate on behalf of her constituents, but also on behalf of many other constituents of people in the room here today, and I thank her for that. And she visited my constituency actually last year when she met with many of the constituents that I represent who use a business in Riverside in Cardiff West, the neighbouring constituency to my honourable friend from Cardiff South and Penarth, who I'm now following, called the Trust Exchange Limited, which is run by Anwar Ali and is actually just an absolute model example of what a small business ought to be in our local communities. And goodness knows we need more small businesses in Wales in particular. And it's the only business of its kind actually in Wales that we have, and it deals with a lot of my constituents, my honourable friends' constituents and others who want to transfer money back to relatives often overseas. And I'm not going to go through the same arguments that other honourable members have made about the importance of this, but I think my honourable friend, the member for Bethnal Green and Bow, pointed out the huge value of this business and its importance to developing countries in particular, being a far larger sum, in fact, in remittances than is got through international aid. That's something we don't hear much about very often in the press, but something I hope this debate will help to highlight, and its importance to those countries and to our constituents. So as I say, I was approached by my constituent Anwar Ali some time ago in relation to this matter, and I was quite shocked when he told me that effectively his business would be put out of business by the decision by Barclays Bank. And I know it's a business that not only provides a very valuable service to my constituents, but also has been involved in setting up charitable work, aid projects and so on in Bangladesh in particular, which is the ethnic origin of Mr. Anwar Ali, as well as providing a service to people of all sorts of ethnicities and communities. Now it seems to me, Mr. Bailey, that the point has been made that this isn't just a matter relating to Barclays. There have been other banks involved in this business before that have withdrawn. We know that HSBC was found guilty of a blatant failure, to quote, by the US authorities in relation to this anti-money laundering legislation, and was required to pay a record £1.9 billion fine as a result of that. So it has become extremely, understandably, perhaps risk-averse in relation to this business, and that has obviously made businesses like Barclays take up a notice. But the point I would like to make, Mr. Bailey, is that it seems that the larger you are in relation to this business, if you're a bank, then the principle that applies is that you're innocent even if you've been proven guilty. In other words, that you're permitted to carry on in banking, you're permitted to carry on your business if you've been found guilty of money laundering activities and attracted a huge fine. One of the companies that was mentioned earlier on in the debate, Western Union, for example, which seems to be due to benefit greatly from all of this, for example, paid $94 million in February 2010 to settle civil and criminal investigations by the Arizona Attorney General's office in relation to their turning a blind eye to drug cartels in Mexico moving illegal funds. Well, wouldn't it be ironic, Mr. Bailey, if Western Union were to benefit from this decision to withdraw services from these small companies that have done everything in order to meet the compliance regulations in relation to their financial services that they're providing on a small-scale basis to our constituents? If Western Union, who paid a $94 million fine for their involvement in money laundering activities with illegal Mexican drug cartels, were to benefit from the fact that our local businesses are being put out of businesses by these large companies. So what I say, Mr. Bailey, is that it seems that our companies, the ones we're talking about, are operating under a principle of being guilty without having anything being proved against them. In fact, having done everything legally required of them in order to make sure that they comply with regulations. Small is not beautiful. In this case, Mr. Bailey, small is vulnerable and to be assumed to be guilty before they've actually done anything wrong, even when the big businesses have been proven to have acted illegally and been fined accordingly. So my question, really briefly, for the Minister is he content to see a raft of small businesses that have done everything possible to comply with regulation and with the law, to be put out of business by the decisions of these large organisations who, leaving aside the activities they've indulged in that brought economic ruin nearly to this country, have also been proven often to have engaged in activities that were out with regulation and been fined very heavily by it. Is he content with that? And if he's not content with it, what steps will he take to make sure that the government, the Treasury in particular, take a much more active role in trying to save these businesses at the 11th hour before they're put out of business by what's happened? We've heard about the Barclays letter, and I hope the Minister, in his reply, will tell the House what the government's response is to that proposal from Barclays that there should be an industry roundtable. I hope it'll be a positive response, and I hope when he speaks to us, he will speak up for small businesses in our communities, small British businesses in our communities that have done nothing wrong.